This video will start in 5 seconds. Please enable your sound. You'll want to hear this. Is regular drinking getting you down? Are you worried about how much you drink? Maybe you don't drink every day, but when you do, the memory loss, the guilt and the shame is really starting to affect the quality of your life. Does it seem those promises you make to yourself the morning after the night before to drink less just don't quite happen? And this makes you feel really bad about yourself. And maybe there is even a deeper fear that maybe you have to quit altogether, and that scares you. And the actual thought of having to say goodbye forever to your delicious wine or ice-cold beers is a place you really don't want to go to. I guess when you were younger, drinking a lot was cool, but maybe not so cool now that you're older. Maybe deep down you know that drinking too much is damaging your health, but what do you do? Where do you go if you know you don't belong in those, weekly meetings, and you don't want to go into long-term therapy? And ultimately, I'm assuming that you don't want to quit alcohol altogether. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this presentation right now. What if you could conquer the binge drinking and become an awe-inspiring healthy drinker and still sip your delicious beer, wine, or whatever you like to drink without the guilt, the shame, and the hangovers? Did you know drinking too much has absolutely nothing to do with alcohol? It may seem a weird thing to say, but it is the truth. And I will show you why when you watch this entire presentation. You see, I get it. I used to be the big Aussie boozer who partied hard and thought when I was older, and apparently wiser, that I would just drink less. But sadly, my heavy drinking just got worse, and I mean really worse. Without going into too much detail, I've been in hospital with broken ribs from falling downstairs drunk. I've ended up asleep at the end of a railway line, being woken up by the station master yelling at me that I was a stupid, irresponsible girl and that I should go home. And that was at 1:30 a.m. I spent some crazy amounts of money on alcohol I just didn't really enjoy, but I still drank it. Why? Because I was socially shy and I wanted to be liked. Drinking calmed my nerves, and it made me feel more confident too. Okay, I was known as the party girl, but deep down I knew I was drinking too much. And deep down I knew it was a problem. But I just couldn't stop the vicious cycle of drinking too much and too often. I just couldn't imagine my life without alcohol, because I did enjoy drinking, but I knew it wasn't in healthy quantities. All I remember thinking back then was, if I get out of this hole of crazy binge drinking, if I could find a way to control my drinking rather than having to quit, then I could help those like me who are worried about their drinking, but just don't want to stop altogether. My question was to myself, how can I do this? Where do I start? Is this honestly possible? You know what I mean? To truly discover a way to drink less alcohol without being a party pooper and enjoying some lovely wine at home without the guilt and the angst and the hangover. As you can see from one of my many drinking too much stories, I wasn't always the leading expert in alcohol reduction. Hi, my name is Georgia Foster. I am known internationally as the alcohol reduction expert. I have written many books and been on TV regularly for years telling the world the real reason why people drink too much. I qualified with the best Jungian psychologists in the US and spent many years lecturing on the UK university circuit. I've spent the last 22 years developing my private practice in London and Australia, helping people who want to drink less but just don't know how. Listen, over the years I've interviewed top neuroscientists from around the world. I've been in deep conversations with addiction experts. I've met with government bodies. I've done a huge amount of research and left no stone unturned to understand how to help people drink less alcohol. I've taken all the hard work out for you, so you don't have to do the hours upon hours of research on the internet. Honestly, I've taken the pain away of wondering what to do. Today is your day to stop worrying about your drinking. Now, I'm here to help you. My tried and tested drink less method is taking the US by storm and is being hailed as the first of its kind with a unique approach to alcohol reduction with a 97% success rate. And the good news is, without having to quit completely. Some medical experts are calling my approach the middle ground of drinking, and the message is starting to spread that many Americans secretly do want to drink less, but don't want to abstain. They're tired of being told by the media and society that quitting is the only option. Unfolding before your eyes, you are about to experience a new, refreshing, and liberating home program that gets fast results without old-fashioned willpower. Look, you may think this is a big promise, or maybe even a little bit suspicious, because let's face it, you've been told the same old story over and over again that quitting is the only way forward. Until now. I am going to share with you my 22 years of experience of being in the forefront of how to drink less that has the support of many well-known scientists, doctors, psychologists, and psychiatrists around the world. In fact, many of them have secretly used my own methods to drink less because they too have been worried about their own drinking. Because my approach is different. And because my approach stops you feeling bad about your drinking straight away. I can assure you that you don't need to go into long-term therapy or group meetings. In fact, the opposite is true. And even better, you don't have to tell anyone that you're worried about your drinking, because they don't need to know. Only you and I need to know, and this is what is important. Because those in your life who may judge you about your drinking will only see one thing after completing this program, that you are naturally and happily drinking less and enjoying it. You see, I've heard it all before, and I get it. If you're tired of listening to people who tell you that you drink too much, which actually makes you ironically often drink more, or if you're a sneaky drinker because family and friends are critical of your drinking, so you hide and tell those little white lies about how much you drink, stop the shame and the guilt right now. I don't know how many times men and women have said to me, Georgia, when the doctors say to me, just cut back a little. I nod and agree, but I leave feeling awful because I just can't seem to cut back. And I worry about this too much, and bizarrely, it seems to make me drink more. What is my problem? I can assure you there is nothing wrong with you. Let me repeat this. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you, and it's not your fault. We all start drinking socially and then drinking on the weekends, which leads to drinking a few days a week, which leads to drinking every day. Drinking a lot every day. I get it. I've been exactly where you are, and I can help you. Let me tell you a little secret why I know this to be 100% true. First, I'm going to tell you a close-to-the-bone drinking story from Kylie, who is a very typical worried drinker that came to me for help. And what she has to say is what I hear weekly in my professional life. Kylie kindly agreed I could tell you because she was in a pretty bad way before, and the good news, she is not now, so she's happy to share. I will also share other testimonials from men and women who have been brave enough to put their name and photo on this video to show you how powerful and fast the results of this program are. I'll show you their photos to prove they're normal, just like you, in a few moments. But first, this is Kylie's story.
I shudder when I think of this drinking story. In 2012, my husband and I went to a colleague's wedding in the country. As it was a long way from home, we checked into the local hotel for the night with other people from work. I was dreading it because I'm actually very shy and I know my social anxiety can be pretty bad. But I also know I can drink too much sometimes, especially in unfamiliar social situations, so I was already really anxious. The car ride seemed to go forever, and all I kept saying to myself was, Kylie, just don't drink too much. Don't make a fool of yourself. On one hand, I promised myself I'd pace my drinking, but another part of me was dying for a drink to calm myself down. By the time we arrived, people were already at the bar offering drinks. My husband went upstairs with our luggage, and I got that look from him that says, "Don't drink too much." And that really ticked me off. My husband can be the wine police sometimes, and it really irritates me. He can sit on a glass of wine all night. I so wish I could do that, but I just can't. And I thought, screw it, why not? Everybody else is drinking, so I had a glass of champagne. By the time my husband came down, I was on my second glass of champagne and having a great time. After a few hours, we sat down to eat with some colleagues, and my husband asked me to slow down my drinking. We had a massive argument at the table, and he stormed off and said he would get room service. And I don't remember much of after that, but I woke up at 4 a.m. to find myself lying next to my boss in his room. Yeah. I was horrified. I felt physically sick. I ran to the bathroom to vomit. I had the most awful panic attack and saw my marriage in ruins, my professional reputation in shreds. I just couldn't piece together what had happened. I snuck out of my boss's hotel room and made my way to our room. As I entered the room, all I could think about was how shameful I felt and how angry I was at myself, because the same old questions came up. Why do I do this to myself? And why do I keep doing this insane drinking that I know is self-destructive? How many more times am I going to repeat this?
I'll get back to Kylie's story in a moment. So if you are tired of the extra glass or two at night that you just can't seem to cut back on, or if you're a binge drinker and know that you just can't stop at 2 or 3 drinks and feel the need to drink that little bit more, this program is for you. You see, I'm not going to tell you to quit drinking. In fact, I'm going to suggest the opposite. I want you to drink while using my 7 Days to Drink Less program because you need to know it's working. If you avoid or stop drinking, how will you know it's working? So don't avoid any drinking situations. Trust you have an amazing mind that does truly know how to drink less. It just needs to learn how to do it. The program gets quick results. So if you're tired of waking up regularly with too many hangovers and feeling under par, keep listening. With a 97% success rate, practically everybody who buys this program has successfully reduced their regular habitual drinking. Most of these men and women have reported their reduction has been up to and beyond half of what they were drinking before. Here's what Rebecca Smith said in Psychologies magazine.
With a program to stick to, it's not as hard as I imagined. I have had just 5 small glasses of wine in the past 10 days, a huge improvement. I feel stronger and more accepting of my own current situation, so there was less of an internal struggle and less of a void to fill with drink. Alcohol is becoming a treat, not a habit.
Here's Liz Hoggard's story, who wrote about her experience using the 7 Days to Drink Less program as featured in the Daily Mail.
My skin was clearer and I slept better. By the end of the week, my usual total of 40 units is down to a more modest, for me, 21. And the brilliant thing? I haven't had to give up drinking completely.
Are you ready to create a better life where you drink less with ease and without the shame and the guilt? If you said yes, I am truly here to help you. So what happened to Kylie? Let's pick up the story where we left off and see what happens.
To my incredible relief, my husband was sound asleep, but my anxiety was still just way too high because the night before was like a Halloween jigsaw puzzle that wasn't complete, where I just couldn't find the important pieces. I stayed awake playing out all these different scary scenarios about the night before and how my husband would leave me. And one of the most awful things was my boss. I was hoping for a promotion. That morning was the longest morning of my life. I lay there so still, just waiting for my husband to wake, dreading the conversation I knew we were about to have. I rolled over towards him and gave him a big hug, hoping that would help. He woke and said my breath smelled like a drunk on a park bench. I started to cry as I profusely apologized, but he wasn't having any of it. He told me as soon as the wedding service was over that day, we were heading back to the city. He was silent all day, and even worse, my boss was ignoring me too. I wanted to crawl into a hole and die that day because I knew I had to do something about my drinking. I just couldn't put it off anymore. It was the most terrifying thought. imagining my life without my precious wine. I kept thinking to myself, there must be a way to learn how to drink less. There must be a way to get some sense of positive control over my drinking because I knew I just didn't want to quit. Truth be told, I had secretly many times searched the internet for a drink less approach, but all I would find were detox hospitals, years of therapy, and alcohol addiction clinics. And I knew that wasn't for me, but I just couldn't get my head around what to do or where to go. Even my 14-year-old son was critical of my drinking, which ironically made me hide my wine. I often stashed a secret bottle of wine as a backup and pretend there was only one, but I knew I was drinking too. Who was I kidding? I had to do something, but what? That day at the wedding, fortunately, my boss finally came over and explained that I had got so drunk that he couldn't find out where my room key was, so he put me on his bed knowing I would wake up and go back to our room. He reassured me nothing happened for me to worry about and that I just fell into an alcohol-infused coma. I could have kissed him right there and then as this huge relief engulfed me. So, after the wedding, I made a commitment to myself. I was going to find a way how to resolve this drinking issue once and for all. Then a few days later, good fortune knocked on my door. I was watching Sky News while getting ready for work. I saw the presenter talk about a new approach that was getting amazing results in just 7 days. I heard this Australian woman talk about her opinion on why people drink too much and that some of the medical profession just didn't understand the real issue. She felt that the guidance given by many health professionals was bullying, belittling, and shamed the drinker, which she felt was completely the wrong approach. And equally, it wasn't helping the millions of people who just can't seem to cut back on their alcohol consumption. The good news was that she suggested it wasn't as complex as some people had made it out to be, and that drinking was an emotional habit that can be unlearned. She continued to say that drinking wasn't actually the problem. It was the thinking before the drinking that was the problem. It was my aha moment, and this huge wave of excitement came over me. I madly tried to record the segment so I could play it back, which I did. I played it over and over again as my heart was racing, trying to watch it again before my husband walked into the room. I wrote her name down, Georgia Foster. All I kept thinking was that maybe this woman could help me. I couldn't wait for my meeting to finish so I could go have a good long read about Georgia's approach on my computer. I read every inch of her website and devoured all of her TV interviews, and the testimonials were amazingly positive. There was hope for me now, and I couldn't wait to buy the program. So that day was my day, where I knew somebody truly understood me as a concerned drinker who felt lost and alone and felt there was nowhere to turn to until that moment, and understood that I didn't want to quit drinking and that I didn't need to. Georgia's 7 Days to Drink Less online program became my little bit of heavenly space to breathe a sigh of relief. Within the first few days of listening to her talks and the 25-minute daily digital recordings, bizarrely, I was drinking less. But it wasn't just that I was drinking less. I actually started to really enjoy what I was drinking and really tasting it rather than gulping it. I noticed that each glass of wine was taking so much longer to drink. Also, my husband commented on how much more relaxed and happy I seemed. What Georgia said in the beginning of the program was correct. People would notice not just that I was drinking less, but I was happier within myself. I owe my sanity to Georgia Foster's approach. Not only did it save my marriage, it helped me realize my relationship with alcohol was down to anxiety and low self-worth, and that I could learn to drink less without the guilt and the shame and the feeling that there was something wrong with me. Part of the program is training your mind through specially designed hypnotic techniques that you lie down and listen to once a day, along with an amazing psychology theory that explains what really goes on. Georgia says many people use alcohol as a way to relax, unwind, de-stress, feel calmer, more sexy, and an aid to sleep or just switch off from a demanding day, and to tune out of negative thinking. I ticked all of these boxes, and she covers all this, plus more, with a real solution. And it's seriously simple, logical, down to earth, and it truly works. My regular drinking is less, and at the end of the evening, there is wine left in the bottle. And to my amazement, after only a month, I naturally, without even thinking about it, lost 8 pounds of my booze belly. Now that was a serious bonus.
So here's the deal. This program is different to anything else you may have seen or read before. It's invigorating and refreshing, and it makes you feel alive, not sluggish and demotivated, which we know can encourage more unhelpful drinking. I've dedicated my life to help others realize their true potential, whether they have a glass of alcohol in their hand or not. I know how hard it is to find an answer to drinking less. For many men and women who have been to those stop drinking meetings and know they don't belong there, now know that there is a place that they can go where they're not judged nor labelled, nor made to feel like they have a problem. Men and women who buy my Drink Less program are fully functioning, emotionally intelligent people, just like you. They're hard-working citizens who have responsible jobs, families to look after, just like you. They, like you, are normal people. They have simply got themselves into a drinking too much rut, and they know, like you, they want to drink less. It's time to move on and learn how to drink less without judgment, crazy restrictions, rules and regulations. Forget the meetings and admitting you have a drinking problem, which you don't, and move on. One of the keys to unlock the overdrinking cycle is to understand what is happening in your mind first. What is driving you to drink in the first place? My program is about training your mind to move on, so you can learn healthier, sober coping strategies right here, right now, and into your drinking future, without your past drinking days and ways hanging over you. The goal of this program is to learn to drink less, irrespective of your drinking past, and irrespective of how many unhelpful and unsupportive memories you have about your drinking. So when you do drink, you are already in a calmer and more realistic place now, and feel positive about your drinking future rather than in fear of it. So rather than using the alcohol for emotional, medicinal purposes, this program helps you to de-stress before your first sip of alcohol. It helps you see your life and the issues you have from a more balanced and logical place before your first drink, so you're not driven to drink with the same velocity. So when you do drink, you drink from a much healthier emotional space. Can you imagine your mind moving on so you can deal with your life better before you drink? Can you imagine your life with alcohol in it, where you manage it rather than the alcohol manages you? If you're ready to start your drink less life without anybody knowing so you can just get on with it, trust me, how you drink is a habit. Yes, you can drink less right now. Just look below and click the orange button now so you can get started immediately. It's 100% guaranteed to work or your money back. A little bit of history about me. I am an Australian who has been living in London since 1994. I don't know how many Australians you know, but they're big drinkers, so I truly get it. For you know I was one of those heavy drinkers, and you know for years I drank heavily and sometimes fast and furiously. But you know what? I didn't know at the time, but I had some self-esteem issues, and I drank because I thought it would make me more interesting, witty and clever. I drank because I thought everyone else was better than me. So I hid my insecurities by drinking and being the life of the party. It wasn't until I trained to be a clinical hypnotherapist at the largest European college where I was top of my class. I knew perhaps my mind was the problem, so while building my private practice, the college I trained at invited me to be one of their lecturers. For many years after, I travelled around the UK universities training others to be hypnotherapists. During this time, I was working in my busy clinic in the business district of London. I was helping lawyers, insurance brokers, homemakers, media types, you name it, to do with life. And they kept saying the same thing. Georgia, I'm secretly worried about how much I drink, but I just can't seem to cut back. It was becoming a theme that I just couldn't ignore. I could see my clients who were drinking too much were suffering and felt misunderstood, which often makes a drinker go underground and drink more because they're worried and don't know where to turn. So it got me thinking, why don't I train myself to drink less? And if I can do it, I can then show others how it works. So with my training in voice dialogue, which is a powerful Jungian psychology that I learned in California, combined with hypnosis, I, as well as my clients, started to see amazing results. Now 22 years on, I have fine-tuned and formulated this turnkey results-based program for you. The good news is you don't need to spend crazy money flying to London to see me, and you don't need to spend crazy money seeing a therapist in your hometown. Even better news is you don't need to dig into your past to find out why you've been drinking so fast and furiously sometimes, because I believe that's not your problem. In fact, your past is part of the problem. At present, your mind thinks the way you drink is normal. Let me say it again in another way. Your mind genuinely thinks the way you drink presently is helpful at reducing your stress and negative thinking. Your mind literally has trained itself that drinking this way alleviates emotional pain and gives you a bit of space. The alcohol has become a way to escape your life. Here's John Clare's story.
It's no exaggeration to say that the 7 Days to Drink Less program changed my life. For years I'd been drinking too much. I wasn't an alcoholic and the drinking never interfered with my work, but I drank every day. In 20 years I don't think there was a day that I didn't have a drink. Usually more than one, as I was a typical a glass is too much, a bottle's not enough kind of drinker. I decided to do something about it after a summer holiday where I was drunk every day, spurred on by too many happy hours. I wanted to cut down on drinking, not give up completely. I didn't know whether this was possible. I found the 7 Days to Drink Less program. When I got to the section which introduced the concept of an alcohol-free day, I took a step back thinking, a whole day without a drink? This isn't for me. I persevered, and within a week I'd had 2 alcohol-free days. When I got to 10 alcohol-free days in a 14-day period, I stopped counting. This is someone who hadn't gone a day without a drink in 20 years. The program was just astonishing. I moved on to testing myself in situations where I would normally drink, including long-haul flights, industry drinks receptions, and end-of-the-week wind-downs. I even went to Old Trafford football ground to watch my beloved Manchester United hammered 6-1 by Manchester City, and didn't have a drink. During this time, my marriage broke up. I got through it all without a drink. It was important for me to break the link and reinvent my relationship with alcohol. I've done that now, and I can have a drink when I want to and leave it alone when I don't. I can have 1 glass or 2, then stop. This week I've had 3 alcohol-free days, but I don't count them anymore. I estimate I've reduced my alcohol consumption by about 80%. I feel fitter, and many people have told me I look great. I've lost 2 inches on my waist just through drinking less. I was always very energetic, but now I have even more energy. Despite my marriage breakup, life is great. A remarkable testament to the 7 Days to Drink Less program.
Here is an extract from the Independent newspaper.
I don't know if it's because I have more energy and I am more active, but I've lost 7 pounds. People keep saying how well I look. Yesterday, someone asked me if I'd had a facelift. I thought I needed alcohol to relax, to make life more interesting, to make me more interesting. It's just not true.
Here is another online review, which is rated 5 out of 5 stars.
These recordings are absolutely fantastic. I have been concerned about my drinking habits for a number of years and have read and tried so many different things, but this program has been the only one that has real lasting change. It not only helped me understand my drinking habits, but also how to change it. It enabled me to change to drinking in a way that meant I could still enjoy 1 or 2 drinks now and again, but know how, when, and why to stop. A true revelation. And I don't say that lightly. This program comes with my highest recommendation. It is easy to understand, and I was able to apply it to my life instantly.
This deep, powerful change and real lasting drink less habit happens because of the power of hypnotherapy. And this isn't the kind of hypnosis you see on stage or at a local community hall. And I can reassure you it isn't going to make you do anything silly or embarrassing or act like a chicken. It's been backed by many neuroscientists who know the power of hypnosis and my special approach. This is clinical hypnotherapy that's been used for decades to successfully treat all kinds of emotional issues, from stopping smoking, phobias to weight loss and depression. We all have incredible minds, And this kind of hypnotherapy is known to be one of the most effective methods to help you intuitively drink less. It literally shifts your mind into enjoying drinking less, so you don't have to feel the need to drink more. Did you know hypnosis is a natural state that we all enter? Everybody, including you, goes into a natural hypnotic state called the alpha-theta state. Some people call it the daydream state. It's that lovely state just between drifting into sleep and just before you wake in the morning. This is the state where your subconscious mind is at its most emotionally intelligent and is open to positive change. It's where your mind and body can learn faster, new ways of thinking, responding, and feeling. It may sound simple, but hypnosis is one of the most effective ways of creating healthy, positive, emotional change. Your mind just instantly stores the new information without any resistance. Perfect for a quick and effective way to enjoy a new healthy drinking relationship to replace your old, destructive, unhealthy drinking mentality. The first thing each Drink Less hypnotherapy recording does is help your mind get into this non-resistant alpha-theta mode. How do the recordings do this? All you need to do is simply lie or sit somewhere comfortable where you can just close your eyes. Don't worry if you have a busy brain, that's fine and normal. I don't expect you to go into this nothingness state. That's very difficult for many, hence why meditation is such a problem for some. Busy brains can hinder the best meditation plans, hence why this approach is better and much more accessible. Because you don't have the pressure to deeply relax. Don't worry if you do fall asleep, that's fine too. Either way, trust me, it's working. When you start listening to my hypnotherapy suggestions, you drift into the alpha-theta hypnotic state. I can assure you this is perfectly safe and scientifically supported with true evidence that this method works. Hypnosis is incredibly relaxing, so you can just listen to my voice while I talk you through your new, healthy drinking habit. In an instant, the mind takes in this new information during this alpha-theta state. And your old, unhealthy thinking and drinking habits are literally zapped out with new, healthy drinking habits on the spot. It's like out with the old programming and in with the new, real you. The deeply ingrained, unhelpful thoughts, feelings, and habits that have caused overdrinking for many years are effectively reprogrammed simply by listening to the daily recordings. The goal is to replace one unhealthy drinking habit after another, so you can start to naturally drink less without even thinking about it. Each day you listen to one of the dedicated recordings, you'll feel less and less like you need to drink excessively or drink at all. You just naturally won't want to drink like you used to, because those driven to drinking moments are just simply not there anymore. It may seem hard to believe, I know, but virtually everyone who does this program says that the urge to overdrink literally just goes away. Like this woman, who, like many, was skeptical and slightly cynical about the process. Here's her story.
Those cravings practically vanished. It's such a relief. This program is quite a strange experience to start with, but then I've never done something like this before. Just relax and don't question it. At first I was disappointed because I thought it wasn't working. Then suddenly, this odd thing happened. I haven't wanted to have a drink at all. It's not like the idea turns me off, but before I would think about a big glass of wine, and it would only be a matter of time before I got my hands on one. Then 2, then 3. Those cravings practically vanished. It's such a relief. I will definitely want to have wine in my future, but it's nice to think that I call the shots from now on, instead of the other way round. Try it and stick at it. You'll be amazed.
It works, because what you've done is trained your unconscious mind to drink less without willpower. Technically speaking, it's a bit like upgrading your mind's software. The files stored in your mind that contained your unhealthy drinking habits are upgraded to a software that you didn't think you had. Each time you listen to the recordings, you upgrade your mind's capacity to drink less and less. This radically simple yet highly effective program is guaranteed to cut your regular drinking by up to 50% or more. Irrespective of your drinking history, and irrespective of whether you drink 2 or 3 bottles of wine a night, irrespective of whether you drink 12 beers or more a night, or those home-measured gin and tonics that you know are more than you really should drink. I don't care about the quantity of what you drink. I care about why you drink the way you do. Even if you've been a regular heavy drinker for years or a binge drinker your entire adult life. And get this, it works even if you drift off while you're listening to the recordings, and even if you doze into a lovely sleep, which often happens because each recording is extremely relaxing. So relaxing and rejuvenating that most people find listening to the program becomes their favorite part of the day. It's a time to spend with yourself that you'll truly look forward to and feel much better after one of the 25-minute recordings. Click the orange button now and start to enjoy the freedom of being able to drink less and enjoy it. You seriously will thank yourself for doing it. I've heard so many amazing stories from men and women who have taken my course and how they have overcome their problem of drinking too much, like this heavy drinking woman who was a seriously stressed out person.
Absolutely amazing. This program is brilliant. After just a couple of nights, I felt different, which gave me hope it would work. Since then, there has been such a difference to my stress levels, and I have had to cope with a lot of extremely stressful things since then. It's unbelievable. I haven't picked up a drink at all. Georgia's voice is just right. She just gets right on with the hypnosis. It totally relaxes me every time, and I didn't think anything but a drink could achieve that. Everybody has noticed a change in me, including my children. I cannot praise it enough. It is well worth getting, and I would recommend it to anyone. Thank you, Georgia Foster. I owe you, big time.
Before I tell you the seriously low price for this program, let me tell you how much of this incredible, easy-to-access content and support you get. Because it's way more than you'd expect. You get immediate access to the entire 7 Days to Drink Less program. Plus, since you're watching this video today, I'm going to give you a special one-off opportunity that includes 7 drinking psychology talks that give you a complete understanding why you drink when you don't want to and how to move on from this unhelpful behavior. 5 powerful hypnotherapy recordings to instantly shift your thinking about your drinking to a much healthier space. The full inner dialogue psychology theory that explains the personality traits within that drive you to drink and how to change them. This special package has extra recordings and support to make sure you succeed in becoming a happier and healthier drink less person, or your money back, and it's only found here. The recordings are designed to walk you through each step of the way while enjoying releasing unhealthy drinking habits. And remember, the entire program can be used whenever and wherever it suits you. It's convenient, so you can complete in your own time in the comfort of your own home or wherever it is private. Depending on which recording you're on, it only takes 25 to 40 minutes a day, and in 7 days or less, you're done. Then I would suggest you listen to one of the recordings a few times a week as a way to relax and enjoy being with you. Because it's not just about drinking less. There are other amazing benefits to this program. It's about feeling calmer, more intuitive, more creative, more trusting in your sober life too. Can you imagine your life without the nagging worries and the self-doubt that causes you to drink? Can you picture yourself getting up every morning with a clear head and full of energy, without the dry mouth, the queasy stomach, and the headache from too many drinks the previous night? How much do you think that feeling is worth? The people who have experienced my 7 Days to Drink Less program feel it's priceless. So what is the special price I talked about earlier? In the past, before I created this complete 7 Days to Drink Less package, I charged US $280 per appointment. To get the sort of results you will achieve with this program, you would have to see me 2 to 4 times. That's a total of $1,120. So rather than paying this full and totally unnecessary price, You will only pay today $149.97 for all of this. Plus, you don't have to wait for the mailman to deliver your product to you. Everything will be delivered into your email inbox after purchasing. You will receive login details that look like this. Be sure to check your spam folder too, just in case the email with the login details have gone in there. And remember, after 60 days, if you're not completely happy with the product, or you don't like my Australian accent, or you just want to continue to drink without control, the way you do now, and just feel maybe you're not ready to drink less just yet, I will give you a full refund, no questions. I stand by my work and feel passionate I can help you. Let me tell you, you have an amazing mind. Just trust. You can drink less. With the tools I give you on this tried and tested program, you are on your way to drinking less on the first day. Some common questions I get are, how will I know if it's working for me? The answer is, you will notice you are calmer and don't have that drive to drink as much or as quickly. The bonus is, you will actually enjoy the taste of the alcohol and really savor it too. Another common question is, I don't think I can be hypnotized. The answer is, yes, you can. Everybody is hypnotizable. Hypnosis is a proven, natural brainwave activity that we all experience going into sleep and just before we wake. This is a scientific fact. If you are secretly thinking you don't believe in hypnosis, then why don't you try it and see for yourself? There is a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose and only good things to gain. So press the Buy Now button. Imagine 1 week from now when you are naturally drinking less without thinking about it, without the drive to drink in unhelpful ways that hinder you from the real, healthy drinker you are. Save yourself the anxiety and the guilt-ridden drinking that you've been struggling with for years. Today is your day to take action so you can naturally drink less in your present and future. Get off the drinking too much treadmill now. Take advantage of my 7 Days to Drink Less program right now, and I'll see you on the other side.